Hello, my name is Douglas Bloch. I'm an author and depression survivor. Welcome to your Depression Recovery channel, where each week we talk about practical tools and coping strategies for healing from depression and anxiety. The title of today's video is, I now have a health problem more serious than depression. Could that be? I thought depression was pretty serious. Well, it is, but this turns out it's even worse. So before we find out what that is, we of course have to start with our joke. Those of you who may have seen my last video, I thought it was a really important video. It was all about how the symptoms of depression can only be managed but not cured. After we were done, my videographer said to me, "The only thing you can cure is salami." During this last video, I mentioned a number of conditions whose symptoms had to be managed over the course of a lifetime, like asthma, arthritis, heart disease, etc. Well, after that video was done, I found out about another chronic illness that needed to be managed, one that I had to manage. And here's how it happened. So we're doing the Monday night group as usual. You know, it's coming up about 9 o'clock. We're about to conclude, and suddenly I felt a little bit achy. All right, what's that about? About 3 minutes later, I started to shake with the chills. The next minute, I was throwing up and vomiting severely. And about 5 minutes later, I looked at my leg and it was blown up like a balloon. I called the advice nurse and she said, "Get down to the emergency room, ASAP." I went down there. They took my temperature. It was 102, and they did a blood draw. I had a 22,000 white blood cell count. Normal is 12,000. They said, "You're not going anywhere. We're keeping you overnight for observation." Well, overnight turned out to be 3 nights, and during that time I had 5 injections of infusions of major antibiotics, and they wouldn't let me go until the white blood cell came down. They were concerned I had something called sepsis, which is blood poisoning. If that happens, you're basically a goner. What almost did me in was something called cellulitis, a serious infection of the soft tissue, usually at the extremes of the body, caused by the strep or staph bacteria. When the doctor asked me if I were familiar with this disease, I said, "I should be. This has been my 18th occurrence in 23 years. And it always happens in the same place, my lower right leg and my right ankle." The doctor responded, "This is serious. This episode almost did you in. These bacteria are getting stronger and stronger and more resistant to antibiotics. There's a new one called MRSA, which is really hard to kill. You have to figure out how to prevent this illness, because one day the antibiotics may not work, and then where would you be?" So after I got out of the hospital, I went to my primary care physician and said, he told me all of these bouts of cellulitis have compromised your lymph system in your lower leg. There's scar tissue, and this prevents the lymph from carrying the waste material back to the heart. This in turn creates a perfect breeding ground for bacteria, and also there's swelling in your lower leg. I said, "What should I do?" He said, "Fortunately, there are people out there, they're physical therapists, and they're actually certified in treating lymphedema. By the way, that's what you have. The swelling in your lower leg is called lymphedema. I suggest you get one." And so I did. At my very first appointment, the lymphedema therapist gave me a pamphlet or booklet to educate me. And guess what it says on the cover? "Helping you to manage your leg lymphedema." I thought, oh my God, here we go again. Yet one more chronic illness to manage beside depression. So I have to learn a whole new set of coping strategies. So what does managing lymphedema entail? Wearing compression stockings, keeping my leg elevated, no more sitting at my desk and writing for me, doing specific floor exercise to get the lymph flowing, practicing a technique called manual lymph drainage, or MLD, where you actually run your hands up and down the lymph system to drain it from the extremity back to your heart, putting lotion on my leg every single day, and seeing a lymphedema therapist on an ongoing basis. Well, I've been trying to do these exercises, but quite frankly, I find them annoying because they cut into my valuable time. I'd rather spend my time writing, making these YouTube videos, running my groups, and doing my long-distance mental health coaching. But what can I do? I need to do these exercises and practice symptom management if I want to avoid another major episode of cellulitis. Remember, having lymphedema is a cause or creates the conditions in which cellulitis happens, because all that fluid is pooling at the bottom of your leg. And again, that's where bacteria breed. So if I want to avoid going to the hospital or maybe even dying, I have to go ahead and, I guess, redo my schedule to learn how to do these exercises day in and day out. The title of this video is, I have a problem more serious than depression. Well, how can that be? After all, I've had depression for 50 years. I've had 5 episodes. I've been hospitalized 5 times. I've been suicidal. You know, how can you say this? Well, at least with depression, you have warning signs that show you're headed, into the darkness. You could have problems sleeping. You could basically lose your appetite. You could have agitation. You could feel like you're not getting pleasure out of stuff. And as these small symptoms come to pass, you can, take out your relapse prevention plan and respond to them. But with cellulitis, there's no warning. I mean, one moment you're feeling great, and then like 15 seconds later, you're deathly ill. Seriously, that's how fast it comes. So, I feel helpless, because what can I do to stop it? And to make matters worse, as you get older, your immune system gets weaker. This is why my best friend's mother, Gail, used to tell me, old age is not for sissies. Well, when Gail said that old age is not for sissies, I think she's right, because in the past I've had cellulitis maybe once every 2 years, once every year, somewhat infrequently. This year, 2018, I've already had 3 episodes. So now I wake up each morning with a little bit of PTSD. My God, is it going to happen today? Is it going to happen today? This is why my infectious disease specialist said, Doug, you may need to be on penicillin for the rest of your life. Oh my God. So what do we do? What does A say in the Serenity Prayer? God grant me the courage to change the things I do have power over to change. And so what can I change? Well, I can change the way I manage my life and my body to make it more likely that I will prevent this cellulitis from reoccurring. And fortunately, I have had practice for the last 15 years managing my depression. I can transfer those skills to managing cellulitis and lymphedema, because like depression, cellulitis can be a life-threatening illness. This has been Douglas Bloch. Boy, I ended that on a downer. We have to find a happy way to end this. Okay, well, my father lived to be 92. How's that? This has been Douglas Bloch. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something from it. And I want to mention that anybody out there who's got chronic swelling in their leg or lymphedema, you should really get it treated. And there are people out there who can help you, because this can, again, lead to more complications. And all of you who are managing chronic illnesses, whether it's chronic pain or Crohn's disease or arthritis or depression, my heart goes out to you. But really, you're becoming in the majority. More and more people are having to deal with this. So if you like this video, please give it a like. If you want to email me, douglasbloch@gmail.com. If you want to subscribe to this channel, please go ahead and click on my photo. You'll be taken to the subscribe page. If you click on the bell, you'll be notified every time I do a new video or a new live chat. And if you click on the Patreon image, you can be taken to a page where for only $2 a month, you can become a sustaining member and help to support this channel. And until we meet again, I wish you the best in your mental health recovery. Thank you so much for watching.